gentlemen, we're about ready to start this show. Welcome to Barbara Morrison's Performing Arts Center. Tonight we have a very interesting group that's been here before. This is their third series concert. They're called Inspired Sound Initiative. And we're going to have a wonderful night tonight. We hope you all enjoy it as well. I want to tell you a little something about things we have going on right now here, too, before we get started. First of all, this Thursday, and every first Thursday, we have First Thursday Blues with Mike Glione and all of those fine musicians that he bring in here. We also have a lot of other activities that's going on here, so we encourage you to check out our web page, which you could just dial up barbaramorrison.com, and it'll come up, and you see all the events that's going on here. By the way, I'm sure you've heard, but if you haven't, this weekend we celebrated Barbara Morrison's leaving us. She went on to be in a better place. We miss her tremendously, and I know that you will miss her as well. But tonight, as she wanted, we want to continue with her music here at Barbara Morrison Performing Arts Center. And we're going to bring on Yuval Ron. He is the creator of this group, and he's got something to say to you. Yuval. Give him a hand.
Thank you, sir. Good evening. I'm a founder of a nonprofit organization which is called Inspired Sound Initiative, and there's some information about it over there on the walls. You can use your phone to look at the QR and learn more about what we do. But I'm a composer and a record producer and a performing artist and touring artist and recording artist. And several years ago, I thought about starting an organization that would raise money from people who have it and pay the musicians to go and do concerts and workshops in communities all over the country and all over the world where people usually don't get that kind of enrichment and inspiring music and dance. And so that's what we do. And that's why we are here. We teamed up with Barbara Morrison to do this series here in Leimert Park. And Barbara told me she called it a musical gift. This is a musical gift for the community. And so we are here as Barbara and I envisioned. And I wanted to pay a tribute to Barbara Morrison. Now, before we start the concert, I'd like to tell you a few things that I personally remember, because I feel we cannot really start a concert without paying a tribute to this great lady, great artist, great human being that left us 2 weeks ago, suddenly. And it's still hard for me to believe that Barbara is not with us in this physical world. But I feel that she's with us on an energetic level. So I'll share with you 3 or 4 things from my experience, and I hope that this will be a tribute for her memory. I met her 3 years ago, and I was in a jazz club called Vibrato, and Barbara was on stage performing, and in the intermission, I went to say hi to her, and I was introduced to her as a composer for film and television. Somebody introduced me to her. And she looked at me, and she was sitting in the wheelchair, and she looked at me, and suddenly she grabbed my hand with both of her hands, and she said, "Will you compose a song for me?" And it was theatrical, but also I felt that she was really genuine. And it was, at that moment, I would do anything for her. And I understood why her nickname was Queen. She was a queen. And she asked me to compose a song for her. And I said, yes, I will compose a song for her. And then I wrote the song for her, and I came here, there's a piano here behind the curtain. I sat here and played her the song, and she said, I want to do this for my next album. So we start talking about working on her next album, and she wanted to consider doing it in my studio and me producing it. She had a vision of her next album as only guitar and voice. That's the whole album, but we never got to record it, but that was the plan. And then I thought about Barbara as an artist for Inspired Sound Initiative, for the work that we do with communities, and I sent her an email saying, Barbara, would you come and perform for a series that we're doing in South Central LA in the summer? That was last summer. And she wrote back to me that my email made her day. She was so happy to hear about being part of this concert series. And so when I went to the community in South Central and I told them we're bringing Barbara Morrison to give a concert, the director of the center said to me, how did you get Barbara Morrison? How did you get Barbara Morrison? And I told her, I just asked her. And she loved to do that. And then she came and she did this concert. And in the concert, she brought children, little girls from the audience to dance with her. And she made everybody dancing in the audience. She made everybody happy. And it was in August last year, in the middle of the Delta surge, where everybody were canceling concerts. And we did this concert series outdoors in District 9 in South Central. And Barbara got everybody dancing and smiling and connecting. And it was an incredible, incredible day with Barbara there. And then Barbara told me, why don't you bring this series to Lamert Park? I have a theater here. Why don't we do it here for the community in Lamert Park? And I said, yes, let's do that. And so she donated the theater. She gave the theater and the crew, it's all from her donation and gift to the community. We brought the artists and the curation of the program. And tonight is the last night that we plan to do that. One more thing that Barbara and I managed to do, she wanted to leave something. It's almost prophetic. It was half a year before she passed away. She told me she wanted to do a documentary for our organization, that we would send those documentaries to children and youth all over the country. And so we arranged a documentary film production to shoot 3 episodes here with her. And she talked about her life. She talked about how blues came out of slavery, from the music of the slaves. She talked about jazz, how jazz came from the blues. And she demonstrated, and she was teaching to the camera. And I was asking her questions, and she would answer and demonstrate. And so we have 3 short documentaries. If you'd like to see it, if you'd like to share it with communities and schools, you can send us an email through that QR code that is on the walls there, near the Stevie Wonder and the Barbara Morrison portraits there. And these 3 documentaries is something that we managed to do together, and it's available through inspiredsoundinitiative.org. So just before we start the music, I'd like to have a moment of silence just to focus on the memory, the blessed memory of Barbara Morrison and all that she gave, all the kindness, the humor, the warmth, the brilliance, the generosity, which we should always cherish in our hearts. Thank you, Barbara, for all that you've done for us. I'd like to invite to the stage 2 of my colleagues and friends, Mr. Dennis Karmazyn and Max Karmazyn. Please give them a welcome. Max, on violin, is a film composer and a violinist, and Dennis is a master cellist who We've played on numerous soundtracks of Hollywood films, and we are really honored and fortunate to have these level of musicians with us tonight. We will start without much discussion of the music and how it works. We're just going to enjoy the magical music that a great master, John Williams, composed for the movie Harry Potter. Fun piece. The next piece is a piece by composer Ludwig Göransson, who composed the music for Black Panther. And I'd like to demonstrate a few things for you on how film music works. What's the magic behind it? And one of the most common thing in film music is playing with the pulse of your heart. And how does composers do that? When composers want you, in the audience, to feel the intensity of a chase scene, let's say, or they want you to really believe the movie. Although if you were to watch the movie without music and without sound effects, without sound at all, you may not really believe that it's real. I don't know if you ever watched a movie while turning off the volume all the way to 0. Try that. And then you're going to discover how important sound is in movies. So, in this movie, Black Panther, in the main theme, the composer wants you to get right into the feeling of there's action and there's intensity. What happens is that when we humans find ourselves in a dangerous situation, in a tense situation, our heart starts pushing blood faster so we can run in order to save our lives. That's just the way our heart and our brain works. What music does, music can make your brain and your breathing pattern and your heart work faster or slower based on the pulse, the rhythms that the music presents to you. Because human being, this was found scientifically in recent times, that human beings' heart rate and brain waves tend to synchronize to the sound that we hear. So if we would play for you a very slow pulse, music that have very slow heartbeat, your heartbeat will want to synchronize to that. And if you hear music that is very fast, your heart will start pumping blood faster. And they tested it with elephants. Elephants behaved exactly the same as humans. And it's something that it's very hard for us to resist. If you go to a jazz club and the band plays very fast music, you look at the audience and people just tapping with their feet fast. and they just don't even notice. And when there's a slow music, people start to sway slow. So we, without even thinking about it, we synchronize to music on an inner level of heart, breathing, and brain. Now, in Black Panther, what kind of a beat the composer, what kind of a pulse the composer created? So by that, the composer programmed the brain and the heart and the breathing rate of the audience to immediately feel danger, suspense, intensity. Let's hear that whole piece of the main title. This was arranged by Max